So listen, I am super duper 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 excited for today's guest. So I have my big brother here, y'all. My big brother, AKON. He's my big brother, my friend, my mentor, my grandson, my son, my daughter. He's everything to me. Yeah, grandson? He's everything to me. Well, you know, in Senegal, they're just like, some kilifanga, some magna, some lipna. You're everything.
There you go.
So today we're talking about success habits. I believe, you believe, we all believe and know that he's laid out a very concrete blueprint on how to be successful, stay successful, and give back when you get to the top. Amen?
Amen.
So AKON, how are you today?
You can call me Ali.
Yeah, I was gonna say the AKON thing is a little weird.
No, but yeah, for the viewers, just call me AKON.
Okay, for the viewers.
And just for those, she calls me Ali. Like, family calls me Ali. So for her calling me AKON, it feels kind of weird, but I understand that it's for
the purpose of... So AKON, I like that.
Oh, that's actually pretty dope.
What?
That's your side.
That's your side. That's my side. My side is Ali.
There you go.
Oh my God, I get to call you Ali. This is great.
Right.
So listen, they call you an artist, a songwriter, an actor, philanthropist, you're an interior designer, you're a techie, a serial entrepreneur, but can you cook? So listen, I know growing up, you used to make like these bomb grilled cheese sandwiches. Like he was like my father, I would say. Like he would do my, do you remember doing my hair before? Yep. He would do my hair like before I go to school. Yep. And you would make, but you always made grilled cheese sandwiches. That was like your thing. So now I haven't really tasted your cooking. But so can you cook?
Yeah. All right, look, let's be...
Because you're everything. I mean, the list goes on.
Let's be very clear. I cooked for her too, but I guess this is for the viewers. The grilled cheese sandwiches was for the purpose of speed.
Yes, okay.
I had to get it in, out, something that was tasty, nutritious.
Yeah, they were good. You did everything on the pan too. That's what I did. Like, it's not like you rushed it, put it in a toaster.
You can't do the toaster.
You flip both sides.
You gotta have that butter on that. You know what I'm saying?
They were great.
Right.
But that's all I know.
And to answer your question, I'm an amazing chef.
Okay.
That's the one thing.
So we're gonna have to get him in the kitchen. We're gonna have to get you in the kitchen. Have you created like your own dish?
No, I just invent my own recipes.
Okay, but can you do Senegalese dishes?
Of course.
Wow. I'm sorry, I should know this.
She knows
but
it.
I don't.
I just put her on blast just now, but she knows it.
Okay, I know it. Okay, so let me tell you why I brought you here today.
Right.
I brought you here today because growing up, I believe watching you that you've mastered the subtle art of not giving a diggity dong dang dang. I would say it or something else. My mother would be very proud that I used the words that I used.
Right.
That you didn't, I don't want to say didn't care. However.
No, I did care. The thing is, there's a difference between caring and not giving a F.
Uh-huh.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
I care more than you know when I don't give a.
So when you care.
When you care, there's a different type of not giving, because you're not giving because you don't care.
Right.
Like.
Okay, you don't give because you don't care.
Right, but me, I give up because I do care.
Right.
But I don't because I don't care.
Oh, okay. So in times when you don't, it's because you really don't care.
It's about what you're believing in and what you're doing that causes you not to give up.
Okay. All right. So then, because I really thought you didn't care.
No.
But certain things. No, not
when,
now.
When I don't give up, that's when you know I care.
Okay. When you don't.
Because I'm doing it for a purpose. There's a reason, and that needs to happen. I don't care who and what or. I don't give up. It has to happen.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do know, because you're a visionary, so some things you see before we do.
Right.
And I think maybe before you were more patient to explain it to us, but these days you're just like, y'all gonna get it later.
No, I ain't got the time. I ain't got the time to explain. You just gotta trust me.
You gotta explain it to us.
Yeah, you just gotta trust me. Because look, one thing I realized, I watch the most amazing people die young. And they didn't have time to explain why they were doing it, because these are things that needed to happen.
Right.
And if the rest of the world don't see the reason why this needs to happen, you can't explain it to them and accomplish the goal at the same time. You got to just do it and hope that the most intelligent ones understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
The most open-minded ones can actually think about the purposes of why it's happening and think of the good and positive reasons why you're doing it. And then last but not least, the ones that don't get it later.
Okay.
You follow?
Yeah.
But if you have in your heart that there's a goal to be, completed, and that there's a purpose that you have to, deliver on,
yeah,
you just got to get it done.
Okay, so tell me, how do you maneuver, like, even when, like, your family's like, don't do it, close friends are like, don't do it, but in your heart, you're like, I gotta do this, but also you can't explain why. So, like, walk us through your mindset on, like, how that works.
Prime example, as you know, I've been through the process of doing it, didn't care, wouldn't even involve family.
Yeah.
Then doing it, cared too much and involved too many family members. Then going back to doing it, okay, no more family, just get it done.
Okay.
Because what happens is you start mixing the business and the personal, and that can halt the business. It can create turbulence in the decisions, and a lot of times the execution of it don't necessarily happen because you have to make tough decisions. You have to make tough decisions. So if you're not making tough decisions, that's going to benefit the growth, then you never grow. And with family, it's the toughest thing to make those kind of decisions because you're hurting feelings, emotions get involved, and then it's family like, man, I can't do that to them. But you don't have a choice in order to move to the next step because that family member may not have what it takes, or that family member just isn't ready or experienced enough for that matter.
Right.
So you have to make real tough decisions, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where it's already tough to fire or, you could say, deliver a message,
right?
But now you got to do it to a family member,
right?
And the message ain't positive in their mind, but in your mind, it's the most positive thing that has to be done, and you just don't have the time to explain it. So you have to just make the decision and just move and live with it. You got to stand by it.
So now the family businesses that are successful, what do you think they're doing differently?
The ones that are successful,
how they mastered the whole family
it's all communication and more than anything, understanding. Throughout the interview, you're going to be hearing the door. My little robots in every door.
She got ad-libs and everything.
Right. She like front door. Like, nigga, front door. So basically, whenever someone walks in the door, whether it's the front door, garage door, side door, kitchen door, whatever door, it alerts everyone that someone just walked in the door. And I'm doing some construction in the house, doing some remodeling, so people are coming in and out. So if you hear that in the background, please don't get, annoyed.
Yes, the disclaimer. Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
So, what was I saying?
The family businesses that have figured it out.
Right.
Why?
So the family businesses that figured it out is communication, understanding is like one of the most key ingredients in everything because they understand their role and nobody's trying to compete with each other. They understand that this business is set up to benefit the whole family. So if Heidi has an amazing idea and that idea is moving, everybody get behind that idea. But if it's a generational wealth type of company, like a Johnson & Johnson or you can name it, like so many like Walmart, these are the kind of businesses that obviously they groom their kids and their kids' kids to run the business. So within it, you have people that go to law, so they could be the family attorney. They got people that go to doctor, so they could be the family physician. You got people that go to marketing, that could do the family marketer, whatever the case. And then they take the top positions and always keep someone family in the highest positions, whether it's executive or whatever have you, right? But these are the people that grow up understanding that my responsibility is to keep the family legacy alive and keep the generational wealth moving. Those are always going to be the most successful family businesses. Now, the other family type of businesses is where everybody create their own HUD home and try to outdo the brother, the cousin, the sister, the dad trying to do the mom, everybody trying to show that they're the most smartest or most successful in the family. Those businesses never last. They come, they go. One business may last for a few years, maybe 10 for that matter, but then it doesn't never trickle down to the rest of the family. So you got one side of the family who's super successful, they're eating, comfortable, and then you have the other side of the family who's not doing nothing and trying to figure it out. Every celebrity family has a celebrity.
Yeah, because that's what makes them a celebrity family.
Right, or that is the breadwinner of the whole family. The family has to understand that that's the football.
Right.
You got to support it, cover it, protect it, and get it to the end zone every time y'all make a play. But if y'all make a play, and then you run it over here for the pass, and then this one over here trying to, drop the ball so he can fumble, so he can make him look bad, so he can, pick it up and recover and take it to the other side, it becomes, you're not understanding the value of that celebrity. Like most families have to understand the value of a celebrity and what it takes to build a brand.
Right.
It takes millions, if not billions, to build a successful global brand. We were just, successful and lucky that we had a machine like a Universal or an Interscope or, Jive or whatever to have you, that we were all connected to, that helped us build the family brand, utilizing me as a tool to become the celebrity.
Right.
But at the same time, you have other families, like let's say Kardashian for instance, Kim Kardashian for instance, right? Her father was a celebrity before even Kim.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The big OJ trial, him being the attorney, that made the Kardashian name ring. But then Kim came in, added the lifestyle, the beauty,
and then the mom was the manager.
The sexy. The mom oversaw the kids, made sure that all that was going on as Kim is growing. They're learning from Kim, growing from it, attaching, pulling from her. So they're getting some of that, and they be able to utilize that opportunity and maximize on it. So it's like, but at the end of the day, it's still Kardashian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then anything attached to it, you just have to know how to maximize the opportunity, but at the same time, keeping the Kardashian integrity alive so it can continue to make money and create more opportunities.
Yeah.
And if you know how to understand what that is and not have an ego to feel like you have to be the light or you have to be the person that everybody looks up to, then you're losing the opportunity.
Yeah. Now, being African, let's talk about being Africans. How was like being an American and being an African, your upbringing, and your success? How has it helped you, you would say? I know growing up, we had a lot of family meetings. It was like a family meeting.
Oh, every week.
Every month, yeah. We had a lot of family meetings.
Right.
But do you feel like that have helped you create like a backbone or?
I think that all of that helped, especially the background of being African. My mom, my pops being African, my father creating the saying, I'm African and I'm a die African. And we used to all laugh at him in the beginning.
Yeah, and the madder he get, the more you would hear that.
Right, he made sure you repeat it. But when we was kids,
African.
We didn't understand the phrase of how important that was when we was kids.
Yes.
So every time he said it, we were like, man, I want to be like African. I don't want to die African.
For real, I know, for real. It's true.
Because at that time, we was just coming into the States. We saw all the propaganda that was being issued to us, from the cartoons to the Sesame Streets to you name it. All the TV shows that kids watched all made Africa look like a jungle.
Yeah, there was no Black Panther or anything.
People with spears running, and we just saw a different image of what Africa really was.
Yeah.
And then as we started to grow, we started learning our history, we started to understand more of our culture, we started to speak the language. Everything changed from the aspect of growing with maturity.
Yeah.
And then we started to really understand it. So now it makes sense completely.
Yeah.
But I think the growing up in Africa and then the way people raise their children and how the village actually raised a child, and it wasn't just one mom, single parent or whatever. And then us coming in, we understood, honestly, me personally, I didn't understand how I had friends that only had one parent.
Right.
I didn't get it. I was like, how is that possible? Like, where's your dad?
Yeah.
Like, you mean your dad is not here? Like, it was mind blowing for me to see
that has to be tough.
85% of my friends didn't have a dad.
Yeah.
And then like maybe 2 or 3% didn't have a mom, because the mom was probably strung out on drugs or whatever the fact, but then the dad took care of him and whatever the case. But it was oftentimes that we make friends, we would go to meet their parents and only meet one. And I was like, that was the most confusing thing to me, because I was like, how were you surviving without your father?
Yeah.
And you like, because men's supposed to raise men. So it's like when you got the mother and then the grandmother raising the kids, because a lot of my friends in the hood all was raised by their grandparents.
Right. Yes, yeah.
Which is even crazier, because obviously the grandmother's going to show a lot more love, but the grandmother's going to spoil you more too.
Yeah.
So this is why I think a lot of guys that are in the streets, most of them are in the streets because they lack the father role model.
Yeah.
And then the reason why they're so sensitive is because they were all raised by women. So you got the half hood, half sensitive guy. So when you put those two together, you get this generation hood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this generation's hood. Okay.
This generation's hood is super sensitive. Like, all these little niggas is cowards. And they really, like, sensitive. The smallest little things they cry about. You get a fight into the street and you lose. You don't want to go back and revenge and double up on you want to go and grab a gun from the trunk and shoot the boy. Like, accept loss, because loss is part of life. Accept failure, because failure is part of life. But if you look at it as life, lost or failure accomplished or not accomplished, you're gonna always be 2-3 steps behind. Like I utilize those tools as information. If I so-called do what everyone considered to be failure, or I didn't, you can say, accomplish whatever that endeavor was in the satisfaction of those that's watching or paying attention.
Yeah.
It ain't because I failed. It's just because I didn't have enough information.
Right, yeah. Because I know you always say, like, you don't have any regrets.
No.
When they ask you in interviews, you're like, I don't have any regrets. Even in front of kids, I'm like, he's not.
None.
But you know, but maybe would the kids feel like remorse if they feel like they don't have regrets when they do have regrets, and then someone you look up to like you say they don't have regrets?
Right, but
you're older, I guess, to know that you don't lose. It's a lesson learned.
But I'm
too.
also spiritual enough to know that if it happened, it was meant to be.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You just say everything happens for a reason.
Trust me, everything in life happens for a purpose. You may not understand it right now, but you'll understand it later.
Yes.
And my philosophy always been the 100% rule. You trust God 100%.
Yeah.
You'll never be stressed. You'll never be upset. And you'll never be like disappointed in yourself, because when it becomes about you, that's when you failed. When it becomes about you, that's when you're stressed and sad.
That's
when
true.
it becomes about you, that's when you're like, oh man, I can't believe I did
You
this.
really don't stress though?
Why?
I've never seen him stress a day of my life, which is weird.
It's
Well,
not
how?
weird.
How not?
It's the 100% rule.
But
Why
then,
are you
like, all
stressing?
of us, like, I'll be stressed.
Why?
People around me be stressed
Do you ever-
over
do you ever
you,
ask yourself why?
and you're like the one smiling.
Yeah, y'all the only one stressed. And I'm like, why are y'all stressing if I'm not stressed?
Because you're stressing us out.
But why am I stressing you out if I'm not stressed?
Because what you do stresses people out.
But why would it
It's the
stress you?
effect. Okay, I think it's called the effect.
Okay, but my point is, what is the effect?
The stress.
Okay. You understand? So now, guess what happens when you try to answer that question? You never have an answer for it. It just turns, it's like a 360 question that never's answered.
Okay.
It's like a kid asking you why.
Right.
And then you answer that question. You're like, but why?
Yeah, but why?
Well, because it's blue. Why?
Yeah.
Well, blue is a beautiful color. Why? So the why never can be answered.
Yeah.
You can continue to answer it and it will continue to revolve and circle in a...
Okay, well, I'll say this.
That's what stress is.
But then I have to get into this subject a little earlier, and then I want it. Because, you know, you're a public figure.
Right.
So, I mean, you're like up in the sky, and anything you do, I feel like trickles down to us that
To the family,
maybe are
naturally,
more
of course.
available to
Because you're
you.
a part of a celebrity family.
Yes.
So anything I do, the family will also
Yes.
have to answer the questions. The family will also have to feel the wrath of it. The family will also have to explain or have an explanation
Yes.
for my actions, which I think is
Right. Or
dumb.
also think about what your action could cause you. We're stressing over that, like
No,
over what
don't
you
worry.
may have to go through. Because
But don't worry about that. If I make a move, I know exactly why I'm doing it. I never make a move that's not calculated, ever.
Okay. All right. So my question, I know y'all want me to ask this question. So, okay. So the 6ix9ine situation.
Out of everything you've picked, the 6ix9ine.
I mean, right? Don't y'all want to know?
Like out of all the things that I calculated, you want to understand why 6ix9ine.
Are you still adding, subtracting, dividing?
What do you mean adding, subtracting?
Because you're calculating for that. It was a calculated move.
Life is calculated.
Life is calculated. Could
But
you say
6ix9ine,
anything that
put it
can
this
help
way,
make
6ix9ine,
that make
6ix9ine
sense?
was common sense.
All right. I feel like I have common sense. So
No.
what do you mean by that?
I didn't say anything about your common sense.
Okay.
I said common sense.
It was common sense.
That's common
But
sense.
when you say it, I feel like I should have got it immediately or something.
Yeah, you should have. But
Wow.
but maybe there's a reason why you didn't get it.
Did you get
Or
it?
maybe there's a reason why the whole world didn't get it.
Yeah. Okay. Are you able to say why? Or can you
Yeah.
tell us how?
I answered the question earlier. When it starts to become about you,
Whoa.
make it- hold on.
Really? Okay.
Hold
Let
on.
me tell y'all this one thing.
hold
he
on, just
does,
listen.
And I can't believe he do it on
you
the
want to
show.
know the answer, right?
Yes.
Okay, when you make it about yourself, you
Okay.
get stressed, you get angry, and you go, no, think about
I didn't
it.
even send him the questions.
You didn't have to,
sound
but
okay.
you didn't have to.
Right, but
See,
you just sound just too.
But I'm going to tell you again.
Okay, how are you
Me,
so
I live by the 100% rule,
Okay,
right? Every step I take and move forward,
yes.
I trust in God 100%.
Okay,
I
right.
don't fear,
Yeah.
I don't stress,
Okay.
and I don't overthink anything.
Mm-hmm.
If I move forward, I'm going to continue to move forward because I believe that whatever move I make moving forward, God is going to protect every decision, every word, and every motion that I make.
Yes.
Right. Getting back to 6ix9ine,
Okay.
the name of the song is called Locked Up.
Right.
Okay. So you mean to tell me that only real niggas get locked up? Did you know that only over 85% of the jail population, the jail is filled up with snitches or people that cooperated with the police?
I didn't know that. I thought
85%.
Okay.
85%.
85%.
Of the global jail population are all in jail right now because they cooperated with the police to do either less time
Okay.
or sometimes no time at all. Some are in there working right now collecting information for them.
Okay.
Now, in 6ix9ine's defense, first of all, he's not a criminal. He's not a street nigga.
No.
He's an entertainer
Yes.
who does music
Right.
that just happened to be like every other rapper who has a whole bunch of street niggas around
Okay,
him.
because I was gonna say he is gang affiliated.
Right.
Okay.
Which are most
Rappers.
artists.
Okay.
Not even rappers. I'm
Okay.
talking about artists.
Okay.
There's a difference between being gang affiliated and gang certified.
Okay.
He's gang affiliated because he knows people and are very good friends with people who are certified. You following me?
Yes.
Right. Now, his role is to do what he do at the best of his ability. The people that surrounds him, their job and only job is to protect him and to make sure he don't get caught up or in no kind of way what he does and what value he brings to all of them is in no kind of way interrupted. That's their only job. These kids ain't got no talent. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no influence. And they ain't got no say, really. Because if they make a difference or they make a move, guess what happens? Or who gets blamed for it? 6ix9ine. If a shootout happens at one of his concerts, one of his parties, guess who gets hit for it? 6ix9ine. Their job is to make sure that none of that ever happens so he don't get blamed for it, because every time he gets blamed for it, it devalues him. And when it devalues him, it devalues everybody that's attached to him, including them. Right? The problem with rappers, artists, or people that come from the street and then bring that into the music business is that they don't know how to separate the street with the business. So I can say in my earlier part of my life, I was victim to that. I think we all are before we understand just how much money we lose when there's an incident. It took me a few incidents in my career to realize that every time something happened, I'm buying somebody a house. Every time I make a wrong decision, I'm spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, whether I'm defending myself or I'm paying out to settle out.
Right.
Right? After so many of those, you like, man, hold up.
Right, yeah.
Hell no. I'm tripping. What are all these niggas doing around me but costing me money? Right? You start to understand the value of even who you are. Because now you're so popular that if somebody in the entourage says something, does something, or affects something that creates a turbulence, you're the one that gets blamed for it. So now you start to realize the influence you really, really have. But when you specifically handpick certain people to be close to you, and their job is to protect you, and they do the opposite, and then on top of that, they expect you to take the rap for them. To me, I don't even know how to explain. His is a lot more deeper, but I'm trying to just make...
Yeah, generalize it.
I'm trying to generalize it because he's not the only one that's ever been caught up in a situation like this.
Yeah. But it kind of shakes up the culture. His
that's
incident shook up the culture, though.
All right, that's what I'm saying. His only shook up the culture because he was successful.
Okay.
You know how many rappers right now are moving freely that cooperated? You know how many people that I know personally, like real gangsters, honey? Like I'm talking about don't play no games gangster. Like you know them? Like these are some real G's at a certain level.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain level in the streets, there's a certain level of a threshold you can't get beyond unless you're cooperating with the police. Unless you're cooperating with the feds, or you're cooperating with CIA, or you're cooperating with some kind of governmental organization that allows you to control a whole generation whether it's drugs, whether it's white collar. It's a certain level. When you become kingpin status, you're working with them boys.
Well,
There's no way.
I don't want to talk about the movies too much.
Honey, this ain't no movie.
I know, but in the...
Ask Rick Ross.
Yes.
The real Rick Ross.
Yes.
Ask...
No, you know what I was gonna say, because in the movie,
the only reason why I even mention Ross is because he already came public.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna mention all the other ones.
Right.
But they know what I'm talking about.
Yes. But when you say cooperate with them, do you mean like on their payroll?
Honey, does it matter? You're working with the police.
I know, but it looks different.
Cooperation is cooperation.
So, okay, you know, you guys have shielded me from that life, right?
Right.
Right. So this is my question, okay? Because, you know, it's depicted that when the cop is on the payroll, it's one thing, but are they also snitching on other people too? All that?
Honey.
They never show that part in the movie. They just never show that part.
Honey, are you really judging real life by movies? Right?
I'm just saying, what the inspiration, I'm sure, comes from real life.
I'm saying, like, out of all the rappers,
yeah,
you mean to tell me, out of everybody, they choose to pick on 6ix9ine? That's true.
Yeah, isn't that the easiest though?
All of them?
Is it because he's the easy target?
No, because he's the most successful one.
Okay. You talking about the feds at this point?
I'm talking about everybody.
Oh, okay. I follow, promise. I promise I follow. Okay.
Success comes with all of that.
Yes. Because I was going to ask, why did this happen to him?
Right, because he's the most successful.
Yeah, but he's not all that innocent.
Who cares?
Wow.
Innocent? Not innocent.
You know why the culture cares?
The only thing he's guilty of, honey,
yes,
is putting people around him that wasn't there to protect him.
Right. And wanting to be a part of a gang. I think.
No.
Couldn't he be successful without that?
His music was made for gangbangers.
Because he's a lot. He's an
entertainer. He's an entertainer.
Yeah, he's an entertainer.
He makes music for that audience.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to attract gangbangers. The Game, he made music for gangbangers. Of course he's going to attract gangbangers. When Snoop was hot, he made music for gangbangers. Of course he was going to. NWA made movies for gangsters. Guess what? Gangsters, see, when you make music for a specific audience, you're going to attract it.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. You make music for that audience. Now, right now, if Tekashi decided, let me swap this out and just go straight pop, make music for kids.
Yes.
Guess what's going to happen?
Yes.
He's going to be more successful doing that than he will be doing it for the streets.
Right.
He's super colorful. He's a walking rainbow.
Jason Derulo was a good example.
Jason Derulo, squeaky clean.
Yeah.
He makes music for the kids, TikToking.
Yeah.
But if Jason Derulo came out doing street records,
it wouldn't work.
Yeah, because you know him now as this.
But you mean in the beginning?
Because if he came out straight off the top as a street record and he came out believable.
Yeah, that's true.
I could have came out straight pop from day one.
Yeah.
Nobody knew I was street.
Yeah.
Nobody had no idea I was even nowhere remotely close to attached to anything or anybody in the street. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I came out with a record called Locked Up, they just naturally assume, oh, he's been through it.
Mm-hmm.
But what if all that was a lie?
No, we're not doing that today.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm explaining to you the music business.
Yeah, but that's why I think 2020
Heidi, just listen.
Okay, I'm listening.
Listen,
There's a lot going on right now.
You understand that I came into this music business to get the fuck out of the street.
Okay.
I'm trying to go as far away from the street as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you right now, say, guys, I was a fraud. I didn't do anything I ever said in these records. Never.
And then, well, our whole world would crash.
Why?
Because it would crash. Some things don't need the why. Doesn't need
just say one day if I just come out and say, you know what? I'm going to tell the world I was never street. I never did anything of that. I never been locked up.
Well, then you're like
never
the
knew
boy
anything
who
about the ghetto.
cried wolf. No one will ever believe anything you say.
It's entertainment. You know why? Because 90% of the records you're hearing right now is exactly that.
Okay.
I just happen to be one of the few that actually experienced some of that stuff and wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
But my intentions wasn't to glorify the street. It was just to let the world know what I've been through.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Relatable.
That's it.
Relatable. Yeah.
I just wanted to be relatable because I knew I was the only one dealing with that.
Right.
That was my only purpose of talking about my experiences.
Right.
But you ain't never gonna see me in the streets ever again. I'm not even, no. That wasn't my purpose.
Tell me, okay, give us a little, like on the streets. I think honestly, I want to interview like a gangbanger. I really, really do.
Right.
What created like that whole, I don't want to say like, I think it is called crab in a bucket. Cause it's
The
like,
crab in the bucket mentality is beyond the street. That's just the African and brown race. Unfortunately, because we've been oppressed for so long, we've been always conquered by division. We've grown through generations to have that mentality to always have to be competing with each other or try to be better than the other, because our slave owners and people that controlled us, even till this day, always separated us and tried to create different factions for us to compete with each other. So that mentality is in our gene until we teach our kids and children different to move different.
yeah.
But they're the only ones that can break that chain. We could never do it.
But then one of the disassociate from the street.
The street is a whole nother monster in itself. That's just music influencing people that the streets is cool. That you're not cool unless you streetly, that you say you have some kind of street certification or ties. Right? So half the kids that's talking about it probably never experienced anything about it. Especially this generation. This generation is about the internet. The internet is the streets. Our generation, the streets was literally the streets.
Yeah.
Right? So, but what made this generation adapt to it so much is because a lot of the people they looked up to happened to come from the generation of ours that really came from the street.
Right.
And were trying to get out.
Right.
So what they would do, they would take their street money and try to invest it in the music business, because it was so much easier to make that transition, because that lifestyle in the street transcended into music, because a lot of people you were dealing with in the music industry all came from the street.
Yeah.
So when you find people doing business in the street, record like independent labels, they do business as if they still doing it in the street. Most of them not even corporate, like set up to do corporate business. That's why they never go beyond hit records. You have very few people that took school a little bit more serious than the average thug. And I'm not talking about school of education that the government provide for you. I'm talking about the school of hard knocks, where you understood that 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
And your common sense kicked in and say, whoa, if I could flip this 2.
Right, yeah.
To
They're
another
natural
2.
like entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Right. So when you got people like Master P, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Baby and Slim, I mean, P,
Yeah.
you can go on and on, you know, on the difference between the more street knowledge and how they utilize that street knowledge and position themselves in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Because they're using the street technology and baffling the white people in corporate that never understood how that chemistry actually ever worked.
Yeah.
So now when they go in there with that mentality that they were born with naturally, they seem and look like geniuses.
Yeah.
Even though to us it's like, oh shit, that nigga killing it in there. Like, it's just basic hustle to us. To us it's just hustle.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you be like, yo, what's poppin'? What you been up to, man? Shit, just hustling. We know what that means.
Yeah.
But in their mind, they're like, oh, they have some kind of scheme. They're up to something.
Right,
No, we're
exactly,
not.
yeah.
We're just understanding.
They're just moving and
it-
shaking.
Right. So you teach us the basics and
Yeah.
we get really creative.
Yeah.
So now when you're talking about numbers,
Yeah.
that's one thing you just have to know how to count.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to school to understand how numbers multiply. School don't teach you that. School teaches you how numbers are just added up. You follow what I'm saying?
Geometry, algebra,
The
all
basics.
stuff we don't use.
Right.
I hate it.
So now what you have to do is take that basic chemistry of 1 + 1 = 2 and get creative. We were forced to be creative because of the areas we lived in, the society we lived in, and the environment we was forced to live in. So we had to get creative. We had to take canned foods and make it look like, you know, filet mignon.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And my mom, you know, they'd dress it
Yeah.
up, make it look like,
Something.
man, that corned beef or whatever looked like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
You made it look like it was a gourmet meal
Yeah.
straight out of, one of these fancy
five-star restaurant or
Right.
something, yeah.
You know, so everything we had to get our hands on, everything we had access to, it was always limited. So we always had to maximize every limitation. So that's what made us so, debonair, so more, intelligent, so much more, effective when it comes to businesses.
Right.
So, and this is another reason why there's that big insecurity when it comes to the white corporate world on letting African Americans into that range.
Oh, because they'll take it over. They have taken it over.
No,
but
we will hands down take it
Yeah.
over. Because we just move different, and we're more prone and conditioned to take more risk.
Right.
Because we came up in a risky environment.
Right.
So a risk to them is norm to us.
Yeah, yeah.
You follow? So that's why when we come up on a big scale.
Yeah, and it's like
really
a no
fast.
going back mentality.
Right, and we're already prepared for whatever that obstacle is.
Yeah.
To them, they like, man, well, we can't afford to lose. We need a low risk investment. We're like,
Yeah, we're like all or nothing.
We're like high risk. The greater the risk, the bigger the reward.
For real, for real.
You follow what I'm saying? And they're like, no, low risk, 2-3%.
Yeah.
You don't lose much.
Yeah.
Good, safe investments. And we're like, man, listen, safe investments. I can flip my money 18 times by the time you make that 2-3% in a year.
Yeah.
I could flip that to 400-500%.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
this is why black people don't really invest like that. We invest this way, where we're buying real estate flipping, or we buying goods and buying and sell, resell.
Yeah.
Anything that we can buy and resell, to us, 50% markup on our dollar within a few months, we willing to jump in right away.
Yeah.
You know, but other than when you talk about stock market and you talk about all these small hedge funds,
long-term investments, like I ain't got time for that.
We don't even know if we're gonna survive in the next year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been changing though.
No, but we do need to start thinking long term.
Yeah.
Because long term is sustainability. That allows you and your family to sustain a certain amount of wealth for a long period of time. You know, but if we don't think along those lines and we want everything right now real quick, everything gonna fall and drop and crush to the floor real quick, just as quick as our thoughts, can monopolize it. So
yeah. So I'm gonna ask a legacy question.
Right.
Cause so with the collaboration, like with 6ix9ine, me, Boo, and O were like, oh, this will ruin your legacy.
Oh, yeah.
People were saying this may ruin your legacy, everything you build. Do you agree with that, or what do you think about that? Or has it? Because it's happened already, kind of. Has it started?
How do you?
I mean,
okay, you know
people
what?
want to know, right?
Can I tell you something?
I'm here for you guys.
When you've built a legacy,
Okay.
the legacy will live forever. How you leave that legacy
Yes.
is all that matters. And legacy makers or legacy owners are the ones that make decisions that nobody never understands. These are the decisions that everyone are afraid to make or everyone are afraid to accept. I can't be a leader if I'm worried about what everybody else thinks. I know God put me on this earth specifically, not only to help people, but to help facilitate his plan. I always looked at myself as an instrument of God.
Right.
The same way I look at money. To me, money is just an instrument. You know, you see how I do money. I don't care. I don't even keep it. The moment it comes, I give it away.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't, never.
Yeah.
Money to me is just an instrument, and I use it as an instrument specifically. Money never meant anything to me, right? So that's how I see my life. I look at my life as everyone else should look at it. Like, you are God's instrument, and he's going to utilize you the way he sees fit. So if I see someone like 6ix9ine in a position, when I know he has a great heart and he's a good person, right? Yeah, he might be, overly excited. He might have hurt some feelings in the process of defending himself.
I mean, he hurt his feelings since he got out.
But he was defending himself too. Don't forget, he was a huge target.
Right.
People forget that part. He's probably the most bullied person. He's probably the most cyber bully person in the world.
Right. That can obviously
He has the most hate mail, most hate comments.
I can believe that.
But what made him special and what I respected about him was that he understood the business aspect of it. Whether people are hating you or loving you, as long as you got their emotion, you have a business. You can market, promote, fuel the hate. You're still going to generate money. Honey, whether you...
I feel like politics may be like that a little bit.
No, Trump doing that right now. Trump knows that.
Yeah.
Trump wants you to hate him more. Because he knows the more you hate him, it gets into your emotion.
I gotta stop hating him? No.
And when you are into your emotions, you engage more. And guess what this game is all about today in the music business? Engagement.
100%.
So guess what? As long as 6ix9ine can keep y'all emotionally attached to him, good or bad, he's gonna do 1 billion views every time he releases a video. And guess how much money he makes? Every time. He's right. He's now following the 100% rule. He can't care about what the rest of the population think. When he knows he's doing the right thing for him and his family, I can't doubt the man or judge him for a decision he made if I wasn't in his shoes.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You have to ask yourself the true story. If you were in his shoes, would you make the same decision?
I need more information.
That's my point. That's exactly my point. You have to get all the information first before you can judge. And I feel that most people was too quick to judge when it came to him. And most of the people that was judging, I don't even think was even qualified to judge. None of them ever been locked up. Most of them never been surrounded by gangsters. None of them never been in the street. None of them can even be certified or it will ever be recognized by the certifications of the street. So who are you to say that he snitched and you don't like him? Why do you care if he snitched? He didn't snitch on you. Him snitching on you has no bearing in your life whatsoever.
Did he snitch
what
on
other
the culture?
reason?
The culture.
Okay, the culture? So you mean to tell me niggas that's out to kill you is part of the culture? That should be added to the culture? No. Gotti, young kids are dying every day. So you want to blame the culture for that? That's just ignorance. The culture is $1 billion business that's feeding black people and getting them out the streets. That's the culture. Hip hop fed not only black people, it's feeding Asians, it's feeding Indians, it's feeding whites, it's feeding Jews, it's feeding Muslims.
Everybody.
It's feeding everybody. Hip hop has now become the major tool that feeds our young generation Z and X population. You have to put the respect on that.
100%.
If you don't do nothing else, you gotta respect the culture. So you can't blame an action that 6ix9ine made on the culture. And I'm not gonna allow that to be affected by the culture either. The culture is what feeds me. But what I can do is utilize the little that I do have in the culture, the influence that I do have in the culture, to allow people to see both sides of the coin and then make a decision.
Yeah.
My conversation with him and my collaboration with him was allowing him to tell his side of the story because he never had that shot. And nobody's was more officially, I could say, qualified to be on that locked up record than him at that moment in time. To me, that's personal. Now, there's a lot of people that say, yo, you should have put such and such on it. Oh, he a real street nigga, such and such on it. Yes, I could have. But keep in mind, I've never stopped anybody from getting on the record, honey.
Right.
I made this song back in 2004.
Right.
This song is 16 years old. And all of a sudden today, everybody want to jump on it because 6ix9ine is on it? Y'all had 16 years to jump on that record. What happened?
But okay, so what about people who say that used to be a street anthem, but now it's a
It's
snitch?
still a street anthem.
But some people think it's a snitch anthem now.
So you mean to tell me Locked Up? I'm steady trying to find the motive?
No, that's what I said. That's a street.
That's not no street. That's not no snitch anthem.
No, they saying once he's on it.
Okay, that version could be the version for the snitches. That's great.
You're like, they can have
Yes,
that.
hell yeah. I want that version to
He's
be.
like, y'all
listen,
make that one.
I want that version to be the version for the cooperators because there's a lot of things on that side that. Because this is the thing, Hadi. The problem with people, they're hypocrites. They're too quick to judge, and then they're not looking at themselves before they make a comment. I guarantee you right now, and I'm not saying this to defend Tekashi, but all I'm saying is, if you grab half of the people that's making comments, and you put both of them side by side, you'll probably find more flaws in the person that's making the comment and then Tekashi. Or you put that person and you let him wear those shoes and put him through that same scenario, without none of us knowing he was in that scenario. I guarantee you, he'll probably make the best. He'll probably make this best decision that he feels is for himself. And then whether that decision you might look and say, oh, that's fucked up, he a snitch, or, oh man, he was honorable for making that decision. That's on the person that's dealing with whatever they're dealing with at the time, or whatever experience that person experienced at the time. I don't have no reason not to do a record with him or be affiliated with him. I'm not in the street. 6ix9ine can't snitch on me for anything. What are you gonna snitch on? What are you gonna say to the world?
Well, you sure.
Oh, he's out building schools, building cities. He got a lighting company. He got a huge. What can you possibly say?
Yeah.
Why would I ever have an issue with you, and what you could do to me? It's nothing that he can say to the world about me. And if it is, I'd rather he do say everything that I'm doing in the world. Matter of fact, he can help be the bullhorn to everything I am doing. So the word that don't get out, he can help me spread the word. But I'm not in the street. I have no reason for him to not be around snitches. I could hang around snitches all day. Really, to find out what's really in their minds, what's really going on. What led you to that decision? I want the intel. I want that data. I need to know what's going on in these lives so that I know how to conduct myself around certain people. I know how to deal with certain people, and I also give them respect to understand that their story does matter.
He sounds like a walking "What's Your Side" TV. I mean, that's what we do here.
That's the truth.
That's what we do here. We're very non-judgmental. Every side needs to be heard because there's 3, maybe 4 sides to every story.
There's really only one side, but there's a million interpretations.
Right.
It's like religion.
Yeah.
There's only one true God. We all cherish him, and we all believe in him, but the only difference is we all worship him differently.
Yes.
That's the only difference. whether you're Muslim, Jew, Hindi, Rastafarian. I mean, you name it. We all worship the Most High. What makes it different or makes it seem like it's compartmentalized into different religions or different gods, it's all translation. If God is Allah in Arabic and it's Jah in Jamaican, or it's whatever you call him in your language, you're still talking about the same God. You just, because of the culture you lived in or the environment that you were raised in, you just cherish and you worship him differently. And I may not agree to how you worship him, but that's not my place to judge how you worship our Creator. Worship him how you see fit. However you see honors him, that's how you need to worship him. And allow me to do the same. But I'm not going to discriminate with you because you decide to go in church and you sing praises when you worship him. And me, I decide to get on my 4 knees and bow down and put my forehead on the ground for him. We just worship him different, but we all worship the same God. We just translate through languages differently on how we express who he is, what he is to us. But there's only one Creator.
So, okay, so what I would like to end this interview with, we have some of us who are overthinkers, we're self-conscious, care about what the world thinks, people we know, we don't know. What are some tips you can give to people like us?
I would say that you need to adopt the 100% rule.
Okay, say the same. Okay, you've been talking about the 100%.
The 100% rule is putting God and the trust for God 100%. You can't say it, you have to believe it. Everything that ever happens to you, trust God 100% to know that it's supposed to happen. There's a reason why it's happening. He's guiding you through this process. If you're going through hard times, you're going through challenging moments, you're being prepared for something greater. He's putting you through this obstacle course for a purpose. You're a chosen person. You're a chosen one for a specific endeavor that needs to be conducted and delivered. And in order for you to deliver that, this is the route that you have to go through to get to that point. And if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be a lot of shit that's gonna happen that you don't want to happen. A lot of things that you're gonna have to do that you may not want to do. There's gonna be a lot of challenges that you're gonna think that you can't overcome, but you're gonna have to overcome it. Because in order to get to that place, this is the road you have to accomplish. Period. So at that point, there's no reason to be upset because you know this is why it's happening. There's no reason to be stressed because you know you got to get it done. And there's no need to be worried because you know God got your back. 100% though. The moment you understand that, man, you're gonna go through life with a breeze.
So how long have you been following this rule?
Since high school.
So when you were locked up, this same rule?
Oh, it's there. That's why, man, when y'all used to come see me in jail, I was relaxed.
Yeah, you were good.
Super comfortable, skin clear, super happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here chilling. I'm gonna walk into the visiting room with commissary in my hand.
But you had support, a lot of visitors. Did that help?
Okay. But I knew this was a process I had to do because guess what it did? It sat me down. It made me think. I came out a better person than I went in. You know what I'm saying? It was necessary. I needed to think. And then it made me start thinking about life differently. Is this the life I want to be living? Is this what I want my kids to know me for? Is this how I want to be, remembered? Matter of fact, is this where I want to be? You look around, there's nothing but walls surrounding you, people telling you what to do, telling you when to eat, how to behave. That ain't the life you want to live, man.
No, that's so true.
As a leader, and you believe you're a leader, you're not gonna accept that. So I knew I had to change my life. And it had to be, and I had to conform it in a way to where it was satisfactory to the people that really loved and supported me. And that was the only way out.
Well, listen, we thank you for coming. I'm usually getting him ready for interviews, and you're interviewing with me today. I appreciate it.
Come on now.
You've supported my life. You've sold into my life. You sent me through school, bachelor's, master's, high school, middle school, elementary. I'll give you a little credit for that because you was doing my hair, making me grilled cheese sandwiches. Them grilled cheese sandwiches created this. So they have to be good. But we got to get him in the kitchen one day to see if he really can cook. No,
don't worry, because we are creating a show. My mom, who I think honestly is probably the best cook in the world. But I think everybody think their mom is the best cook in the world. But I'm telling you, my mom, no joke, yo.
For real.
So, and then it's African dishes, it's all kind of dishes. And my mom, I think I got that from her, kind of inventing my own recipes.
Yeah.
Because she knows how to cook up. And listen, if it's leftovers, she'll make that. She know how to create and prepare the leftovers as if she just made it out.
Yeah, and the person wouldn't know they're leftovers.
You would never know they were leftovers. But as you know, leftovers do taste the best. But when she creates that cooking show, we'll be there. Me and my sister obviously will be executive producers.
Yes.
I will be a guest host and a guest cook on
You
the show.
should really have your own show, though.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll let it come. We got a lot more to do.
Yes.
You know, it's 100% rule, baby. Don't worry.
Yes.
It's all gonna come when it's supposed to.
That's the takeaway for this interview. If y'all didn't hear nothing else.
Right.
Was trust God. Well, put God first.
100%. You have to. No, don't put God first. Trust God. 100%.
Trust God. 100%.
Because trusting Him 100% is putting Him first. That's super important.
Or whatever you believe in.
No. God.
But what about the spiritualists?
God.
Okay.
If you're spiritual.
What about the atheists out there?
If you're spiritual, you're trusting God. Because that's how God speaks to you.
Right.
Spiritually.
Right. They're very in tune.
Period.
I mean, everybody's in tune, but
if you're an atheist, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you still believe in God.
Okay.
You just don't believe in the physical definition of how we see God to be.
Okay.
But even atheists believe in God. They just believe in Him in a way to where they understand it. They just don't know they're believing in God. Like, let's say hypothetically, most atheists that I know, and I'm not speaking for all atheists because I don't want this to go out and make it like, oh, AKON thinks they're atheists.
You don't mind anyway.
Yeah, but I when it comes to spirituality and God, I want
you don't
it to be super clear. I don't want no gray areas. It has to be black or white. A lot of them that I know personally, and I'm just talking about the ones that I know, they love money. Their main goal and motivation is success and money. To them, money is God.
I don't know any atheists, I don't think.
I'm not saying physically the way they believe us to understand God to be.
Yeah.
But whenever you're motivated by something that you're trying to achieve,
that's like your
that
God.
motivation becomes God to you. In my 100% rule. Because that motivation is what drives them. And then once they accomplish it, that happiness, that's God. They don't realize it, but that's God to them. They only that's all they're searching for is happiness. And when they finally find happiness, their whole world life is changing. They get the same feeling we get when we worship God.
Right.
So that happiness is God to them. It's like there was a phrase in the Quran that says, people that idolize other gods, like we don't judge people that idolize God in a way, because whatever that is they're worshiping, God is looking down on them because God is everything anyway.
Right.
He's all things, right? So let's say hypothetically you look at this plant as God and you pray to it every day, you worship it every day, you ask for forgiveness towards it, you repent towards it every day. God is looking down on you, looking at how you're worshiping that plant. He knows you're worshiping that plant as if it was Him. So He gives you the same credit because He is that plant as well. So you are worshiping Him all at the same time. Does that make sense?
Because He's everything, everywhere, all the time.
So no matter who or what you're worshiping, it all goes back to we all believe in the Most High. It's just we're different as how we worship.
Yeah.
So you can worship it because God is looking at you, giving you the same credit as if you were worshiping Him because He is Him.
Okay. Legi Khara, nakabuguma Senegalese madam.
Just so you know, Hadi's now speaking a little bit of Wolof because she wants to give the Senegalese audience.
I love it with the.
To let them know that she hasn't forgotten.
Oh yes.
Her African.
I have to work on those
don't
transitions.
Speak English well.
Okay. Yes. Yes. What he said. So. Sénégalais na ngeen def yéen ñëpp maa ngi leen di nuyu bu baax ñu ngi toog ak suñu mag bi suñu kilifa bi suñu lépp AKON léegi est-ce que am nga li nga bëgg a wax ci waa Sénégal
non sa waa Sénégal yéen xam ngeen rek li ñuy def ñun réew mi la ñuy liggéeyal pour yéen xam nga seen support ci kaw ci kanam seen support moo tax ñu nekk fii États-Unis di def li ñuy def te ñoo xam nga seen ñaan ñi ñu ngi koy accepté maa ngi ne ameen fu ma dem parce que xam naa ne Sénégal ñu ngi may supporté mi ngi supporté sama famille te lu ñuy def lépp pour yéen la jërëjëf jaajëfate wala boog escape
coow bi commencé na
de
okay thank you guys for watching What's Your Side. Don't forget, follow our Instagram, our YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at It's Hadi Cham. AKON, where can they find you and support you?
At AKON. Every social site, whether it's Instagram, I was about to say Kit Kat. Chit Chat, TikTok.
It'll be coming out soon, I'm sure.
Twitter, Facebook,
yeah.
Everything is at AKON, AKON. And then you can also log on to akon.com if you want to know about everything that I'm doing, from the energy company to the AKON City to the AKON to you name it, the music stuff that's about to drop, all of that.
Yes. There'll be a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of our conversation.
Yeah, I'll be a blind host that every once in a while pop in just to do interviews.
We love blind
to sum
hosts.
up some of the conversations that she might have had with other viewers, you know.
Yes. Thank you guys again. Thank you for
Absolutely.
coming and being here and sitting here, lending us your beautiful house to have the interview and these beautiful flowers. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Tamika. We love you. God
Meet
bless.
me.
Oh my god, it's your boy Mufasa, aka Cousin Skeeter, and you can catch me on What's Your Side with KD.
No, it's not Katie. Why would you ever call me Katie?
How do you say it?
It's Hadi. Like, out of everybody, you're gonna call me Katie? Like, for real?
You
Hadi.
Harry?
I'm done.